If you ignore the historic capital flight happening in the US markets right now, you will absolutely miss what could be the single greatest crypto buying opportunity of this cycle. The market is playing the ultimate psychological game, and by the end of this briefing, you're going to know the exact price levels smart money is watching to turn this market-wide fear into a generational opportunity.
Okay, let's just dive right into this. Capital isn't just moving, it's fleeing. We're talking hundreds of billions wiped from risk-on assets like the S&P 500 in crypto. And why? Well, it's all driven by fears of global tariffs and geopolitical instability. So where's all that cash going? Just look at the chart. Over $640 billion has poured into the classic safe havens, gold and silver. This isn't just a rotation, people. This is a massive de-risking event.
And that massive de-risking has a direct consequence for crypto. The Fear and Greed Index, it's at a 5. Let me be perfectly clear. This isn't just fear. This is absolute gut-wrenching panic. This is the level where retail investors capitulate. They sell their bags at a loss, and they just completely give up. We are at the point of maximum pain.
And in this environment of maximum pain, a very specific narrative has taken hold. I'm sure you've seen it all over social media, that XRP is uniquely failing, that it's bleeding out worse than everything else, and is on the verge of total collapse.
But here's the twist. If you just ignore the noise for a second and look at the actual data, that narrative is completely, demonstrably false. There's a massive disconnect between the story being told and what the charts are actually showing us. Look, talk is cheap. Let's look at the data. When you overlay the price action of XRP with Bitcoin and Ethereum, you don't see a unique failure. You see a mirror. XRP is following the macro market leaders almost tick for tick. The same downturn, the same consolidation pattern. So let's be really clear here. This isn't an XRP problem, it's a market-wide problem. In fact, despite all the fear, all the panic, and the selling pressure, XRP is still up over 170% from the macro bottom it put in back in October and November. This is the perspective that gets lost in the day-to-day red candles, but it is the only one that matters for long-term investors. So, the patterns on our charts are incredibly clear. But, hey, every trader sees something a little different. We really want to know what you think. Are you seeing this exact same correlation? Or is there another pattern you're tracking? Head over to our YouTube community tab right after this and join the conversation. Let us know what your charts are telling you. Okay, now let's get into the solution. Knowing the market is irrational isn't enough, right? You need a plan. So in this section, we are going to break down the exact lifeline levels that institutional money and professional traders are watching right now. The first and most critical area of support is this demand zone right here, between $1.13 and $1.21. This is the immediate lifeline. We need to see buyers step in here with some serious force to prevent a further drop. This is the line in the sand for the bulls in the short term.
But what if it doesn't hold? What if the market-wide panic just gets worse and we break that support? Well, while most would see that as a total disaster, for those of us who are prepared, it could be something else entirely. It could be the ultimate gift.
You see, if we lose that 113 support, the next major macro floor is down around 89 to 90 cents. And this isn't just some random number. This level perfectly aligns with the peak we saw after that monumental, not a security ruling back in July of 2023. A retest of this level would represent a full market reset. And, for those who are ready for it, the generational buying opportunity of this cycle. Before we break down why the native XRPL lending protocol just hit 17% validator approval and how it's going to unlock billions in institutional DeFi, I have to be direct with you. If you are watching this without a subscription to Crypto Global News, you are missing the alerts. You will not know the exact moment the market bottoms out. Click subscribe right now and turn on all notifications to stay on the timeline. All right, let's shift gears from the short-term price to the long-term value. Because while retail traders are panicking, a quiet revolution is happening on the XRP ledger, and the fundamentals have literally never been stronger.
Let's look at the actual on-chain development here. In just the last few months, the permissioned DEX has been activated. Permissioned domains are now live, and now a proposal for a native lending protocol is gaining serious traction. So while the price is down, Ripple and the XRPL developers are not slowing down one bit. They are accelerating. And that proposal is already gaining serious momentum. It's already got 17% yay votes from validators. This is the critical infrastructure that's required to unlock what we call institutional DeFi. We're talking on-chain foreign exchange,
credit markets, and collateralized lending at a scale retail can't even imagine.
So the crucial point is this: the real story isn't the price. The real story is that the fundamental infrastructure for the next generation of finance is being built right now while everyone else is distracted by fear and panic over some short-term red candles.
So what does all this mean for you? I mean, how do you take this information and turn it into a concrete strategy? This is your final action plan for navigating all this volatility and positioning yourself correctly.
The strategy is simple, but it's not easy. It's the classic contrarian approach. You buy the fear when sentiment is at rock bottom, just like it is right now. You sell the greed when the market is euphoric. You methodically dollar-cost average into your positions at these historical levels of fear, and I practice what I preach. I just deployed $50,000 into traditional finance indices, precisely because the fear is at maximum capacity. You focus on the fundamentals we just covered, not the fleeting sentiment.
Now, this market moves fast. For the most immediate, real-time updates and alerts when these key levels get hit, you need to be in our private Telegram. Scan the QR code on your screen or use the link in the description below to join right now. It's where you are going to get the information first.
So I'll just leave you with this one question. When the market inevitably turns and that bounce comes, will you be one of the few who is prepared or one of the many who is caught completely by surprise? Are you prepared for the bounce?
And speaking of being prepared, on the next Crypto Global News Briefing, we are tracking a massive flow of institutional capital that is positioning itself to bypass Bitcoin entirely for a completely different class of asset. We're breaking it all down in the next explainer, which you can see right there on your screen now. Click that video to stay ahead of the curve. I'll see you there.
Stay ahead in the crypto market. Subscribe now for the latest global news and updates.